Where does this leave the Italian coalition?
Good morning, Matt. Well, this was a hugely watched regional election here in Emilia-Romagna. It was almost seen as a vote of confidence on the Italian coalition. And remember, that coalition was never voted into office. Now, going into the vote, Salvini was all over the region. He really was the main voice. He really said, look, if we win the election, if the League manages to flip Emilia-Romagna, which has always been a left stronghold for the center left, that means there should be a snap election, and that means it's the end of the coalition. Clearly, yesterday was a tight election, but it did not materialize. And you could argue back in Rome, it really is good news for Giuseppe Conte and the rest of the Italian coalition, which had really come under pressure. This was really a crucial election. There was a national narrative that was built into this. You could argue today the idea that perhaps there is an election going to happen soon, well, that is off the table, and the coalition, although still very fragile, stays on. And I would also say, Matt, it is interesting that the balance of power in the coalition also shifted. You had a terrible night for the five-star, really awful result. That's 5%. And then the PD did very well. So that is also interesting to watch, just how the relationship and the balance of power now is shifting in favor of the more traditional left.
And I guess, Maria, good morning. Even if the vote in the region was tight, it does have implications for markets. We're already seeing that, a cloud being lifted perhaps from some Italian assets.
Exactly. You're seeing the reaction in the market, especially when you look at the bond yields that are already dropping. And that is because there was that jitter, that nervousness that was already priced into BTPs last week. The idea perhaps that Matteo Salvini, who's had a very difficult relationship with Brussels, with the euro, with the European Union, has floated the idea that perhaps the euro does not work for Italy. It does seem to be, for the time being, off the table. There is no return. There is no Salvini back in frontline politics, and the coalition stays on. But I do have to say, Anna, the idea here is that politics are still very shaky, still very fragile, and you are seeing that balance of power shift in the coalition, where the PD says, now we really do have the upper hand. It's not about the five-star.